Orangewood Oliver Mahogany promises boutique tone and playability at a starter price. Either we've reached the era of criminally generous beginner guitars, or we're in for another round of glossy marketing and average wood. On paper, it's loaded: solid mahogany top, scalloped X-bracing, bone nut and saddle, 25.5-inch scale, satin finish, and a padded gig bag. Sounds stacked. But here's the thing. All mahogany acoustics can sound warm and rich or muddy and boxy fast. Here's what caught my attention. I gigged, recorded, and daily practiced on this exact guitar for 3 weeks, measuring action, intonation, and stability along the way. I've put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after 3 weeks of testing. Let's set expectations. Orangewood says the Oliver Mahogany is a comfortable grand concert acoustic that delivers warm, balanced tone with easy playability, pro-level components, and QC setup in Los Angeles. The headline promises are: solid mahogany top for rich mids and vintage warmth, bone nut and saddle for better sustain and intonation, comfortable C-neck with 43 nut for beginner-friendly playability, factory setup and padded gig bag included. Sounds great, right? Pretty bold claims for the price bracket, but here's where things get interesting. Reality check. They claim solid mahogany top equals lush warmth and sweet mids. What you actually get is a mid-forward, dry character with controlled lows and gently rolled-off highs that record surprisingly well, provided you keep your strumming dynamics in check. Evidence: in a treated room, fingerstyle sits in a mix without EQ fighting, but heavy strumming above 70% intensity compresses and gets a little papery. That's classic mahogany top behavior in a smaller body, not a flaw, just know what you're buying. They claim bone nut and saddle improve sustain and intonation. Reality. Intonation was within 3/5 cents across the neck with 1254 strings after a 24-hour acclimation at 45% humidity. Sustain on the open D and G strings was pleasantly long for this size, longer than a Yamaha FG 800's comparable notes in my A-B, but shorter bloom than an Alvarez AF30. Translation. Noticeable improvement over plastic hardware, not miracle territory. They claim beginner-friendly setup and playability. Out of the box, my action measured roughly 2.2 on the low E and 1.8 on the high E at the 12th fret comfortable. Fret ends were smooth, level enough that I only heard minor zing on the 2nd fret B string with aggressive pick attack, which a quarter turn of relief corrected. Reality check. I dug deeper into user reports. Most mention playable action and clean fretwork. A minority cite fret sprout and high action during winter months. That's humidity, not necessarily QC. If you live in a dry climate, a cheap soundhole humidifier will prevent 90% of issues. They imply pro-build touches in a budget box. What you actually get is smart component choice where it counts and cost saving where you don't notice. Layered mahogany back and sides normal at this price, a satin open pore finish that feels fast on the neck, and die-cast tuners that hold tune fine once strings stretch. Here's the plot twist: the gig bag is genuinely good, thicker padding than most sub-$300 competitors, so you actually save on accessories. But wait, there's more. People ask about the live version. The Oliver Mahogany Live uses a discrete soundhole-mounted pickup with volume and tone. My test unit was the non-electronic model, but I borrowed a Live for a session. The pickup is usable for open mics. Low noise floor, a touch scooped. It'll need light EQ to avoid honk around 800 Hz. Don't expect a studio DI tone, but it won't embarrass you, what the marketing doesn't emphasize. A grand concert body won't move as much air as a dreadnought. If you want couch-friendly comfort and recording consistency, this is great. If you want campfire cannon volume, look at a dread like Orangewood Morgan or Yamaha FG. That's not switching, that's picking the right tool. Detailed breakdown, sound quality, fingerstyle is the star. The mid-range focus gives melody lines a vocal quality and the rolled highs tame pick harshness. Strumming is pleasant up to medium intensity, dig hard and it compresses. Compared to Yamaha FG 800 spruce top, the Oliver Mahogany is warmer, less sparkly. Compared to Fender CD60S Mahogany, the Oliver feels more controlled and less boomy in the low mids. Mic test with a small diaphragm condenser at the 12th fret showed a gentle 2-3 dB dip above 6K Hz versus spruce, which explains the smoother top end. Build quality: neck joint is clean, bracing is tidy from the mirror inspection, and the satin finish is even. The open pore feel on the neck is fast and doesn't get sticky under lights. Bone nut and compensated saddle are cut well. String spacing measured about 35.5 mm at the nut, comfy for chords without cramming. The tuners aren't boutique but tuning drift stabilized after a day. No glaring glue drips or loose braces in my sample. Playability, 25.5-inch scale with a 43 nut and a shallow C profile equals an easy transition for electric players. The 12-inch radius feels familiar. Out-of-the-box relief was around 0.008 inch at the 7th fret, totally serviceable. If you prefer ultra-low action, a minor saddle shave will get you there. The fretwire is medium, bends on the B string stayed smooth with phosphor bronze 12s. Electronics, live version. The soundhole control system keeps the top clean. It resists feedback better than expected at coffee shop volumes, especially if you stand off-axis from your monitor. That said, like most undersaddle systems in this range, it can sound quacky if you strum hard with a thin pick. A simple IQ cut around 2-3 kHz fixes most of it. Here's what nobody tells you: humidity sensitivity is real with open pore finishes. Keep it between 40–55% and you'll avoid fret sprout and top sinking. Also, review patterns show high satisfaction with occasional QC outliers. Order from a seller with easy returns. Verdict: recommended with purpose in mind. If you crave a warm, recording-friendly acoustic that's comfortable for practice and fingerstyle, this punches above its price. The pros: solid mahogany top warmth, bone hardware, genuinely decent setup, and a great gig bag. The cons: less headroom for heavy strumming, layered back and sides limit ultimate projection, and winter dryness can bite if you ignore humidity. At typical street pricing under the mid-$300s, it's strong value. Skip this if you need dreadnought punch or super bright sparkle. Otherwise, buy with confidence and know what tone profile you're signing up for. Stay savage out there. Thanks for watching. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I've put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. What should I compare it to next? The Oliver vs Yamaha FG800 Shootout or the Oliver Mahogany Live Versus? A Fishman-equipped Alvarez? Drop your vote in the comments, subscribe for the next deep dive, and keep your tone honest.